Hi Reddit. I'm 41M. If you ever thought blood guarantees loyalty, let me tell you what really happened to me. 5 years ago, I sat in a courtroom watching my oldest daughter, Ava, lie straight to a judge's face. Not a little twist. Not a he raised his voice once exaggeration. A full, scripted, tear-soaked performance. Rehearsed. Precise. Designed to destroy me. She said I was emotionally abusive. She said I yelled all the time, called her names, broke things. She said she was scared of me. Said she never wanted to live with me again. And the judge bought it. I lost custody of all 3 of my kids that day. Ava was 16. Her younger brother, Noah, was 13. Emma was 8. I got every other weekend. Supervised visits. The kind of arrangement they give to actual monsters. And I accepted it, because fighting it meant dragging all of them through another courtroom, and I figured maybe one day Ava would realize what she did. But man, you don't know how wrong I was. At first, I still tried. Texted her, called, wrote emails, bought gifts. Most were ignored. A few got one-word replies. After a year, nothing. Noah wouldn't even look at me when I showed up for pickup. Emma cried every time I had to drop her back off. And my ex? She played it perfectly. Social media full of supermom content. So grateful to have the kid's full-time red heart. Meanwhile, she was collecting full child support, never working more than 20 hours a week, and living in a house her parents bought. Still, I stayed quiet, focused on work, rebuilt, paid everything on time, never missed a pickup, never missed a birthday, always sent gifts. Until last month, I'm on my lunch break, sitting in my truck, and my phone lights up with a message from an unknown number. Hey, it's Ava. I need to talk to you. Can we meet? My heart nearly stopped. 5 years. No contact. I stared at the screen for 10 minutes before replying. Why now? She answered in 5 seconds. Because I found out the truth. I didn't know what the hell that meant. I didn't trust it. I didn't even believe it was her at first. But something told me to meet her anyway. We picked a neutral place, quiet cafe outside the city. She walked in like a stranger, sat down, and said, I know what Mom did. I know what I did. I'm sorry. You think I felt relief? Nah, I felt rage. Because what she told me next. You're not ready for it. So we're sitting across from each other, and Ava drops the bomb. Mom made me lie. She told me if I didn't, she'd send Noah away and say I wasn't safe around Emma. I didn't speak. I didn't blink. I just stared. She kept talking, like she had rehearsed this too. Only this time, it was the truth unraveling, not a performance. She said my ex had been feeding her a narrative since she was 13, that I was dangerous, unstable, on the verge of snapping. Every argument, every time I raised my voice, twisted into threats. That she'd film me without me knowing, take snippets of conversations out of context, and show them to Ava and the others. She said you'd take us away from her. That if she didn't get custody, she'd lose everything. She told me you never really loved us. I asked her why she went along with it. She looked down, because she made me feel like if I didn't, I was choosing you over them. And then she started crying. I thought I was protecting Emma. I thought I was helping her. I still didn't speak. I was frozen. Because 5 years of hell weren't just something that happened. They were orchestrated, deliberate. And the worst part? I believed it. I believed Ava turned on me for real. I believed she hated me. I asked her what changed. That's when it got darker. Apparently, things at her mom's place went downhill fast once the court ruling came through. My ex started drinking again. She dated a series of guys who treated the kids like garbage. Noah started skipping school. Emma was left home alone more times than anyone wants to admit. Mom told us not to tell you anything. Said you'd use it against her. Said you'd ruin our lives if we reached out. But then Ava turned 21, moved out, got space, perspective. She started therapy. And that's when her therapist asked, what if your dad wasn't the one who hurt you? She started digging, remembered moments that didn't line up. Times when I said, I love you, and she didn't believe it. Times she cried in her room, confused, while my ex whispered in her ear that I was manipulating her. She said Noah started talking now too, quietly, but he remembers stuff. Remembers how Mom would slam doors, then blame me. How she'd stage arguments before court hearings. I asked the only question that mattered. Why now? She looked me in the eye and said, "Because Emma just turned 13, and she's next." That hit me like a truck. I didn't even finish my coffee. I stood up and told Ava one thing. "If you really want to make things right, then help me get her out." And that's when everything started moving. After Ava dropped that on me, "Emma's next," I couldn't sleep for 2 days straight. I wasn't just reliving the past anymore. I was seeing the future on a loop. Same playbook, different kid. Another 5 years gone before she realized the truth, if she ever did. So I called my lawyer, told him everything Ava said. He paused. "Do you have proof?" "No, not yet." Ava agreed to write a statement. We didn't get fancy, just the raw truth, in her words. Everything her mom made her do, everything she witnessed after every lie she told the court. We attached it to a petition to reopen custody proceedings. Not for Ava or Noah. I wasn't touching that. They were legal adults or close to it. But for Emma, the lawyer warned me, reopening a case after 5 years wasn't easy. Judges hate when people try to relitigate ancient messes. But if we framed it right, not as a custody battle, but as a safety issue, there was a shot. I filed it that week. Then I messaged my ex. Just a simple, "We need to talk about Emma." She responded, "She's fine. Don't start." I told her I filed. Radio silence. 2 days later, she showed up at my work. Unannounced. She walked in like she owned the place. Waited at reception. My coworkers stared like it was a soap opera. I pulled her into a private room and said, "You shouldn't be here." She snapped, "You're trying to steal my daughter." I didn't flinch. "You stole all of them from me. Don't act shocked that someone's finally calling you out." She accused Ava of lying. Called her confused, manipulated, ungrateful. I just stared. "You coached a teenage girl to commit perjury. You spent 5 years pretending I was a monster. And now that the script's flipped, you're scared." She tried to storm out, but stopped at the door. "You'll never take Emma. Not over my dead body." I didn't say it out loud, but I thought it. "That's not up to you anymore." The next hearing date was set for 3 weeks later. Ava offered to testify. She said if it meant Emma wouldn't go through what she did, she'd say everything under oath. Then Noah called me. First time in over 2 years. His exact words? "I heard what Ava did, and I'm with her." And that's when I knew this time it was going to be different. Leading up to the hearing, it got quiet. Not peaceful, the kind of quiet where you know something's boiling under the surface. My ex didn't respond to anything. No emails. No texts. She canceled Emma's weekend with me, claimed she was sick. No FaceTime either. Straight blackout. My lawyer said it was classic. She's cornered. Expect either panic or a power play. We got both. 3 days before court, Ava gets a message from her mom. "You still have time to take it back. Don't destroy this family for nothing." Ava sent it to me and blocked her. Then it got worse. Noah started getting texts too, not from our ex, but her sister, guilt-tripping him, saying, "You'll break your mom's heart. She's doing her best. Your dad's manipulating you." Let me be clear. I never told Noah what to say. I didn't coach him. I didn't push him. But I wasn't about to tell him to shut up either. He wrote his own statement. It wasn't dramatic. Just facts. Specific dates, names, things he remembered, things I never even knew about. I remember when Mom told Ava to say she was scared. I remember when she told me not to cry in court because it would make Dad look good. When I read it, my hand shook. We had something real now. Still, I braced for court. Family court is a minefield. It doesn't matter what you know, only what you can prove. And judges don't like admitting a past ruling might have been a mistake. But the judge listened. She read Ava's statement. Read Noah's. Looked at the police report we'd filed after Emma was left home alone. Yeah, we found that out last minute and got the paperwork. Looked at the therapist's note Ava submitted voluntarily. Then she asked one question. Where is Emma today? My lawyer answered. With her mother. We haven't had access for 3 weeks. The judge looked at my ex's lawyer. He stuttered. She asked, why did you deny court-ordered visitation? He replied, Emma was unwell. Is there a doctor's note? No. Boom. Emergency hearing granted. Judge ordered temporary custody to be split 50-50 effective immediately. Said final ruling would be after Emma could speak privately with a court-appointed evaluator. I didn't react, didn't cry, didn't fist pump. I just exhaled. Outside the courtroom, My ex brushed past me. Didn't say a word. Didn't even look at the kids. But Ava? She grabbed my arm and said, I think she knows it's over. I didn't reply, because I knew better. It wasn't over. Not yet. The same night, the judge granted 50-50 temporary custody. I picked Emma up for the first time in 3 weeks. She looked older, quieter, like she'd been holding her breath for too long. She got in the car, buckled up, and said nothing. I didn't push. We got home. She walked in her old room, still exactly how she left it, sat on the bed, and stared at the wall. 10 minutes went by before she finally said, Mom told me if I stayed with you, I'd lose her. I asked her what that meant. She said you'd turn me against her, like you did with Ava and Noah. It was déjà vu. Same poison. Same playbook. I told her, you don't have to choose. You don't have to lie. You just have to tell the truth. She nodded slowly. That night, she barely touched her dinner. I found her curled up in her bed with her hoodie on, headphones in. Same playlist I used to play on long drives when she was 5. That one got me. The next day, her court-appointed evaluator called me. Said Emma was scheduled for her first session later that week. I asked what she needed from me. She said, nothing. Just be consistent. Let her talk when she's ready. So that's what I did. No pressure. No interviews. No comments about her mom. But behind the scenes, my ex was losing it. She filed an emergency motion to stop the evaluation. Claimed it was traumatizing Emma and that I was coercing her. She attached a bunch of texts from Emma, except one was dated before the ruling. Another was clearly written by an adult pretending to be a kid. It backfired. The judge flagged it as suspicious and ordered full access to Emma's therapy notes. The court wanted to know what was being said behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Ava and Noah were holding the line. Ava testified again, this time in person. She brought photos, screenshots, audio clips, recordings of her mom yelling, saying things like, he'll never get you back. I'll make sure of it. Judge reviewed them, looked straight at my ex and said, this isn't a custody battle anymore. This is damage control. Then came the wildest part. Emma, she started talking. Not to me, to her evaluator. What she said, I wouldn't hear it until the next court date. But the evaluator pulled me aside as I walked out. Prepare yourself. She's telling the truth now. And it's not pretty. So yeah, Emma talked. And what she said cracked the whole thing wide open. Court date came fast. No delay tactics this time. Judge wanted everything on the table. Emma's evaluator took the stand. Calm, professional, emotionless. But what she said, brutal. Emma described repeated emotional manipulation by her mother. She was told her father was dangerous, that he hated her siblings, that if she loved him, she was betraying her family. She paused, then added, in her words, I thought I had to hate Dad to keep Mom happy. That one hit me like a truck. Then came the real punch. Emma disclosed incidents where she was asked to lie to teachers, to me, and even to the court. She expressed guilt. She said she didn't know what the truth was anymore. Judge asked directly, is this coercion? Evaluator answered, in my professional opinion, yes. This child has been psychologically coerced to alienate her father. You could hear a pin drop. I didn't move, didn't look at my ex, just stared at the table in front of me. My ex's lawyer tried to push back, claimed Emma was influenced by her older siblings, that she was confused. The judge didn't buy it. Then he dropped the hammer. Effective immediately, full temporary custody is awarded to the father pending final review. The mother is to have supervised visitation only. Any violation will result in contempt charges. My ex gasped like she'd been shot. Ava squeezed my hand. No, just leaned back like he'd been holding that breath for 5 years. After court, Emma came with me. No tears, no fear. Just walked out like someone who finally stepped off a sinking ship. We got home. She didn't say much. Just unpacked a small bag, changed into her favorite hoodie, and sat at the kitchen counter while I made dinner. Halfway through eating, she said, I'm sorry I didn't know sooner. I told her she had nothing to be sorry for. Because she didn't. She was a kid. She believed her mom. She did what she thought she had to do to feel safe. And now she's free. But I knew better than to celebrate too soon. Because people like my ex, they don't just disappear. And sure enough, 2 days later, I got a letter from her lawyer. She was filing for full reversal of the ruling claiming parental alienation against me. Her new witness? Her own mother. So yeah, now my ex was claiming I was the manipulator, that I turned Ava and Noah against her, that I poisoned Emma's mind to gain control. And she brought in her mom, a woman who hadn't seen me in 4 years, to say she always knew I was emotionally abusive. The audacity was insane. Her mom got on the stand during the emergency motion hearing and said, "He was always controlling. Cold. He turned the kids against my daughter." The judge looked bored. Then my lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, the witness hasn't lived in the same state as my client for 5 years. She's had no contact with any of the children during that time." The judge asked, "When was the last time you saw Emma?" Her response? "At her birthday party last year." Wrong. We had photos from that party. Emma was with me. Judge didn't even flinch. Just said, "This is not credible testimony. Strike from the record." My ex's lawyer tried to pivot. "We have emails." My lawyer cut in, "And we have police reports, supervised visit logs, therapy notes, and sworn testimony from all 3 children." Boom. At that point, my ex looked like a ghost. She kept her eyes down, arms crossed, and said nothing. For someone who used to run her mouth like it was a full-time job, that silence was loud. Then the judge said, "Unless there is compelling, documented evidence of recent misconduct, I will not entertain a reversal of custody based on hearsay." Case closed again. But this time, he added something else. "We're referring this matter for further investigation. This court has reason to believe that emotional abuse, coercion, and fraud were involved in prior testimony." Translation: the original custody ruling might be revisited. Ava's perjury? Yeah, that might have been coerced. The judge hinted the court could retroactively investigate the manipulation used in that trial. It was finally happening. Not just justice for Emma, justice for all of us. After the hearing, Ava pulled me aside. "If they investigate that first case, are you okay with them knowing everything I said?" I looked at her and said, "As long as they know you were a kid who was lied to. Yeah, let them see it all. Because here's the truth. I'm not proud of what happened. I'm not here for revenge. I just want the lies exposed. Publicly. Permanently. Let the record show exactly what happened to Ava, to Noah, to Emma. But mostly, to the man their mom tried to erase." A month after the last hearing, I got the letter. The court was officially reopening the original custody case. Not just to review custody, to investigate manipulation, coercion, and misconduct tied to the original testimony. It felt unreal. 5 years ago, I walked out of a courtroom branded a villain, stripped of my kids, called unstable by a woman who trained our daughter to lie like it was a survival tactic. Now, that same courtroom wanted to know what really happened. Ava submitted everything. Emails, journals, voice recordings she never deleted. One clip caught her mom telling her, "If you love me, you'll say he screamed at you. He deserves it." Noah wrote a full affidavit. Said he remembered being coached on what not to say in court. Said he used to feel sick before every visit with me because he was told I'd try to trick him. Emma testified too. She was calm, honest. Said her biggest fear for years was that she'd accidentally say the wrong thing and get taken from her mom. Not because I was bad, but because she was told I'd take her away forever. My ex never showed up to the final review. Her lawyer withdrew 2 days before. The judge read everything. Asked no questions. Just looked up and said, "This was systemic emotional abuse. Not just to the children, but of this entire court." Then she did something I'll never forget. She formally vacated the original custody ruling. Said it was based on testimony proven to be manipulated through coercion, fear, and active deception. It was like hearing a guilty verdict for something I never committed. I didn't smile, didn't celebrate, just held my kids afterward and said, "It's over." Ava cried for the first time since we reconnected. Noah hugged me like a little kid again. Emma just whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on us." And that's all I needed.